Right, on this video we're going to be doing the timing of the engine, stator plate, and in my case I've done a full DC setup. So what you do is, where this last cable would go to the stator plate and earth, you're basically floating this earth. So as I've explained or tried to explain in previous videos, when you've got a normal pulse of electricity, it's basically a circle, but we're normally Vespa or Lambretta would only use half, so they only use the up pulse. With a DC to DC conversion, you're using the up and the down. What it does is it basically, where this is positive and that would normally be negative, so your rectifier or diode would, bridge rectifier would actually cut the downward pulse out, so you've only got your upward pulse, so you'd have plus plus plus, so making it DC. This makes it by giving you a plus and literally flipping and a plus, so you're getting 2 times the pulse, or more or less 2 times the pulse for every one rotation of the flywheel. It sounds you know, a bit foreign to people who don't understand it, but everything is a circle. Generator is a circle. So if you see you know, a power station, or even the latest thing with the wind turbines, they spin in a circle, so you would only get half the pulse basically, so it would be like half of it turning, half of it turning, but because we use AC, we use the whole plus and minus. But with the DC version, what we're doing, we're basically making AC into DC, so we're using both. The rectifier flips between the plus and the minus, making them both pluses. So if you've got, say you've got an 80 watt stator, you should get about 140 watts out of that without any other modifications. I'm just going to clean up the cable before I stick this back in again. Well, I will try and explain as we go through the rebuilding the scooter and sticking all of the cables back in again, what goes where. On a normal Vespa PX, that would be, take these away, the blue and the black would be your normal ground and AC 12 volts on a PX, but we've got plus 12 volts by doing a conversion. So let me just take out these screws. And the easiest way to time a standard Vespa is you've got marks basically that are pre-made, and they are good enough to run from, to be honest with you. There isn't a problem with that, in as much as it'll run, it'll stop, it'll start. You know, you shouldn't have any problems basically static timing it from the marks from the manufacturer, because they're all precision, or as much as they can be precision made. So we've got a hole here where our cables come through, and I always put the big plug through first, like so, and then let the other single cables one at a time follow it. The white, green and red are for your CDI, so that's to do with ignition. You're not changing anything to do with ignition on a full DC system. You're just making the whole lights and horn etc be a lot more powerful than you would be under a normal scooter. So we can hang that on there for the time being, and then start pulling these cables through. Again, that's just caught on the edge of the big one, but that's through, and then they should all follow. I've just got to stand up again here while I pull these cables through. It's a fiddly job, but they do go through. There we go. There's the green, and that should be the red. Right. If we put our cable in, like so. And then what we're doing is, the bottom of the stator here has got two marks on it. One's for a PX, 125 and 150. And one's for the 200. So that's in flat, that's in flat. All you got to do is make sure you're not pinching none of these cables going through here. Make sure they're nice and loose, and the stator plate can move. And just put your screws in loosely for the moment. Like so. I'm not tightening them up, I'm just literally pinching them. In fact, I've done that one a bit too hard, because it should still move. That's it. This is where I was saying, if you're not sure how to time a scooter and you're happy how it run before, just put a magic marker on between this mark here. They're raised lines, you can't mistake them. If you put a line with a magic marker, permanent magic marker I'm on about, then you can't really cock up, can you? Because it'll go directly back to the marks that you had it on before. There is no, like the good old days where you have to do ignition timing, points timing. So we're clear there. That's free, nothing's hitting the flywheel. So what we've got with timing is it's degrees of rotation. So if you start from 0 right the way round is 360. So where we decide, for argument's sake, that is top dead centre, and we want ours 18 degrees before top dead centre, because the engine's running in a circle. Yeah, the piston's going this way, the crankshaft's doing that. So that would be after top dead centre, because it would be on its downstroke, and before, so it's on its way up, would be this side of top dead centre. So if you got one of these, and we're happy that that mark that I just made there is top dead centre, and we want, say, 18 degrees, we could mark 18 degrees, which in this instance would be there. And what we do then is we'll put a mark on there, and on our flywheel should have that mark there is where the firing point is. So the best way I can show it, I don't know if that will stick, but what I did previously is I've marked where the centre of the trigger point is on the K2, that bit there, if you can see that. When these two magnets align is when it will fire, discharge, and make the spark go spark. So before that hits that, whatever degrees you want is where you need to make it fire from, basically. So where my mark is, can you see that? That's where that is, and that would be where top dead centre would be. So if we just stick that slightly on there for the time being, and if we are, now I'm pinching my fingers here, I've not timed this yet, so that would be the firing point at top dead centre, and we would need that to fire just before, which would be there. That's where our marks come into where our K2 is. So if we marked on here, I mean, there's some flywheel cowlings that have got a mark on them. They've got a little line, and it should line up to this line here. So if you're firing, put a strobe light on it, that light should go directly with your cowling line. And if it's either way, so if it's here, this side, it's obviously before top dead center, and after is too much after top dead center. You want that line to be basically bang on there when it fires. I hope this is making sense to people. So you've got before top dead center, after top dead center, and turn it right the way round is bottom dead center. That's when the piston's at its full stroke back. What the devices that lock your piston in to time it is basically what that does is it stops it, say there and there on the upstroke, and what you do is half that, and you know where top dead center is then. It's just as precise as waiting and looking where your piston is just before it comes back. It goes into a dead zone and then comes back. Once you see it, it's easy to see. But I'm quite happy with the timing on this engine, how it was anyway. So I'm not really going to do that now. I was just trying to show you. All we need to do basically is put our Woodruff key in. So again, I would turn the engine over so your Woodruff key's at the top. Oh, a little bit more than that. It's just gone past. If I take my time, I'll be able to show you. The Woodruff key goes in there, and you've got a mark inside there, groove, where your Woodruff key goes. When the Woodruff key actually falls apart, breaks up, we're not having this bolt tight enough, it can move your flywheel and then move your timing. Just undo them a tad. So centre point here is A. That's where this engine was timed up to. I shouldn't have any, there you go. I shouldn't have any resistance with these cables is what I'm trying to say. That should turn. So that basically is where the engine was timed. I'll say these are new. Again, they don't have to be ultra tight. They've got a washer on them. That's fine. So I've timed that back to what it was, original factory, if you like, and where it was when I originally timed this engine, just by putting the two lines together. And basically rotating this way brings it before top dead center smaller. So with the PX, it doesn't take as long to ignite the smaller, when I say PX 150, 125, doesn't take as long to ignite as much fuel as the 200 does. Hence you need a shorter time for it to burn. And the piston's smaller, you know, the compression smaller. Like I say, there's two times. There's a second one there for 125, 150. You can just rotate that, and 99 out of 100 you'll be fine with that timing. Like I say, I'm not worried about the timing because I was quite happy with the bike how it ran previous to being stripped down. There's our nut. That way round. And our washer. I just need a Woodruff key, whatever I've done with that. got loads of them, so I'll have to find out a new one. I'll just find out a new one. Right, have Woodruff key will play. I had it 2 seconds ago. What have I done with it now? Oh dear. It's there. Right, have Woodruff key even will play. It's only a tiny Woodruff key for the PX. And then we'll stick on the flywheel, making sure that's nice and clean, and we're slightly at an angle. Nope. Those pliers. Just for peace of mind, I'm going to rotate the, that's it, that's close enough to top. Put a flywheel Woodruff key in, so we're looking at top. There we are. Then we need our tool to hold it again, which I haven't drilled out because I'm a naughty boy. Trying to remember where this fit the best, because it should be that way around, shouldn't it? I've just drilled out the tool, flywheel holding tool, so I will fit the beast in place. Still piping hot, but whatever. I'll just tighten up the screws. You can't move anywhere. And if we get our torque wrench and set it to between 55 and 60 pounds per square inch. There we go. And that's our flywheel on. Put our cover over. Take our tool off, So again, it's worth buying the correct tools, even though this one for some reason, SIP one, I've had to drill out. It's still better than using screwdrivers the good old way in the good old days. Right, back on the wall. I'm just going to use a wire brush on the fins, just clean them up a tad. Before giving them a wipe. This is not necessary at all, just me being a fool again. It is surprising how dusty these get and dirty. Again, you can use a knife on this, keep them nice and clean, though you don't screws. Right, so I should be able to, there we go, how nice is that? Kick over our engine. Right, we've got our cylinder head to go on next, which is here.